The maintenance schedule for your Bobcat largely depends on whether it's a T3 or T4 generation machine. I will cover both in this short video, but you should be aware that the modern generation often features longer service intervals, which is not always beneficial. Therefore, you may want to consider using the recommendations for the T3 generation to prolong the lifespan of your machine. So the first service happens after just 50 hours, and it's the same for both generations. You need to check hydraulic hoses for leaks, check and adjust handles and pedals. If it's a track loader, the track will need to be checked carefully. The engine hydrostatic belt will need to be checked at this point, and also the engine oil and filter will need to be replaced. Bobcat recommends that you check all the things mentioned above once every 50 hours, but the engine oil changes will not be required that often. Once every 100 hours, Bobcat recommends checking the battery, cables and connections, which is a good idea. Once every 250 hours or once every 12 months, whichever comes first, you will need to check the drive belts and also make sure the BICS works properly, which is the Bobcat interlock control system. But for older T3 models, Bobcat also recommends changing the engine oil and filter at this point. The T4 generation has an extended oil service interval of 500 hours or 12 months. The same is with the main fuel filter. In the T3 generation, it was recommended to replace it once every 250 hours or 12 months, while the T4 generation has the recommendation of 500 hours or 12 month replacement interval for the main fuel filter. Then once every 500 hours or 12 months, you will need to change the hydraulic charge filter and also the hydraulic reservoir breather cap. The fluid in the hydrostatic motor carrier will need to be changed, and the heater core and AC evaporator will require cleaning. As mentioned before, for the T4 generation, you will need to change the engine oil and filter and also the main fuel filter at this point. Once every 1000 hours or 12 months, you will need to change the hydraulic filter and the hydraulic fluid. Also, the pre-filter element in the fuel filter will require replacement. Finally, once every 24 months, you will need to change the coolant in your Bobcat T770. Also, in the T4 generation, Bobcat adjusted this interval and introduced an additional point of 1500 hours for this procedure. So it's once every 1500 hours or 24 months, whichever comes first. If you use your Bobcat in extreme conditions, the engine oil and filter will need to be changed once every 100 hours to protect the engine from wear and tear. Please keep in mind that the 250, 500 and 1000 hour intervals have the same time limitation of 12 months. Even if your Bobcat has worked just 150 or 200 hours within the previous year, you will still need to complete all those service procedures.